Hi everyone. Today we will be discussing the Yale SOM MBA application walkthrough. This means if you don't know anything about Yale, if you just want some information about Yale's essays, CV, recommendations, info on the MBA program, this is not the right video for you. This video is very practical about the application walkthrough. So we're going to go into the online application of Yale and just walk through all the different areas. So that's the purpose of this video. My name is Shimri Winters. I head the Ringo MBA Admission Consulting Strategy team. I'm a former London Business School grad and was interviewing MBAs for London Business School for 8 years. This is our only marketing slide. We're very good. ARINGO is a boutique MBA admissions consulting firm that helps regular candidates get into top MBA programs. What do we do? Everything talked to you at the beginning, chances estimation, project planning, school selection. Is an MBA right for you? Which MBAs are right for you? We start with that. And then we work with you together on the MBA applications from strategy till scholarships and school selection. Check us out on aringo.com. So I put here just a very, very few slides about Yale. Again, check out our longer, detailed presentation about Yale SOM, and we have a presentation about the school and about the essays, etc. Subscribe to our channel. But I just put here some very basic stats, which I'm going to talk about for about 1 minute. You should know these things if you're applying to Yale. If you don't, that's a problem. Yale is, one of the most famous universities in the world. The business school is actually newer. It's only been going on for around 50 years, so it's very new compared to Wharton or or Dartmouth or Harvard, which have more than 100 years under their belt. But still, it's one of the best schools in the world, and one of the top ranked schools, ranked anywhere from 6 to 20, depends which MBA ranking we're looking at. For US schools, I usually look at US News ranking, and I've seen it there between 6 to 10, depending on the year. Again, the rest of the stats, if you're very interested, pause this video and read them. And GMAT and females and class size and great. Definitely one of the best schools in the world, STEM MBA, very flexible curriculum, access to the entire Yale University, which I think is very good. I read somewhere it's the third most famous university in the world, so it's kind of a good place to be. It's a very, very nice campus, by the way. Check it out if you're ever in Connecticut. Academics are very, very global. They love exchange programs. I think they're a bit more about kind of a Team Yale. There's a lot of people who come there from NGOs, Army veterans. So it's not just kind of a finance or consulting school. There's, quite a diverse class. And there's a lot of case studies, etc., etc. Student life. Last slide for me, just a bit about the career support. This is a big part in all top MBA programs. Definitely at Yale. I put here lots of stats. Please, check them out. Pause this video and check them out. I think you will see very, very similar names of employers and very, very similar salaries to other MBA programs. Again, it kind of depends on the source we're looking for with the base salary versus, does it include bonuses or doesn't include bonuses, etc. But I don't know what's interesting here for this specific video. Sometimes I like looking at candidates, how many candidates went to entrepreneurship. So here I think we can see 5%. I think that's interesting. Again, these are very small numbers, 18, to think that 23 people could make a bigger number. But I think that's interesting when you see these numbers that you can actually go anywhere. Okay, you can go to consulting, you can go to finance, you can go to general management, industry, or tech, very similar to other MBAs. This MBA might be a bit less techy than some of the others, but again, I think we took the statistics here from 3 years ago, so you can check out more relevant statistics for any school. Okay, like we said, this presentation isn't about, and here you have like the top recruiters. again, pause it if you're interested. This presentation isn't about the Yale SOM tips and tricks and application tips and essays and CV. Check us out on aringo.com for that, or our YouTube channel. But we're going to now go for a quick walkthrough. I love that we put the Chicago booth logo here, but don't worry about that. We're going to talk about Yale. And what we're going to do is I'm going to open the Yale application. I hope you can see it. And we're going to go through each and every step of the Yale application. The first step is actually choosing the right program. This is actually interesting. I registered for round 2, but I'm actually recording this video towards the end of January, and round 2 has passed, and it bounced me straight away to round 3. So even if you fill out some things, even if your recommender has filled out the recommendation, but you missed round 1, for example, or round 2, so it will just move you to the next round. I have to admit that the Yale online application, what we're going to do now, is quite straightforward. There's nothing hiding here. Don't worry about it too much. If you've prepared, and you should prepare in advance, the essay and your CV, so it's just kind of 1 or 2 hours going through everything here, copying and pasting the things you've made, and submitting your application. But still, let's go through it very slowly. There's some fee waivers to some candidates, especially if you're a US military veteran. So that does give you a fee waiver to this application. So it saves you, I think, $200. If you belong to some of these other groups, it might be worth just joining them very quickly. For example, Forte MBA launch, then that would give you a fee waiver here. So that would save you something like $200. If you're not an alumni from any of these groups, so you're in trouble and you're gonna have to pay your application fee. Okay, you have some deadlines and statement about AI. This is something that they added this year. It's absolutely fine to use AI. Okay, so don't worry about using AI. What you should be worried about is if you let AI write for you things. We all use AI. I use it daily, although not for this presentation and not for helping candidate essays. But again, use it for spell check, use it maybe for idea creation, but definitely do not let AI write your essays or your CV or the script for the video. Big mistake, and just don't do that. To read the statement, and again, I think you should be fine with that. Final steps, okay, you have to pay the fee. There's a quick video question, which again, we'll discuss in the Yale application video, and contact information if you have any technical issues. And let's begin. Okay, if we're honest enough, we're going to put here our names, and we can start to fill out certain things. So again, I think it's quite straightforward, and I think you can see here on the left, there's only 10 tabs. If you've seen some other applications with like 30 tabs, I won't mention names, but London Business School is a nightmare. So let's just go here. This is quite straightforward, I think, with lots of personal details, but pretty straightforward. And okay, so I'm just filling out my things. I'm Shimri Winters the second. I don't use any last names. How do we pronounce your name? Whatever. Okay, so pretty straightforward. You can add your address here, your email address. Actually, the email address is part of the registration that you did at the beginning, so you can't change that. Your telephone number. Of course, a lot of these things are optional. You don't need an evening telephone number if you put your mobile phone. Okay, text messages, I've never seen that work, but you can opt into that. Okay, biographical, information. Okay, if you want to identify your gender and pronounce whatever, your birthday. Ooh, I didn't want to press something. Your birthday and place of birth. Great. I think you'll all manage that. One question I get is about citizenship information. If you happen to have a dual citizenship, I don't think you want to play too many games here. I don't think this has a huge influence on your scholarship or on your chances of acceptance. If you have a US citizenship, but you've been living for the last, or you got it through your parents, or maybe you were born in the US, but you've been living your entire adolescence and adulthood in Germany, and you went to university in Germany and you work in Germany, and you have German citizenship, I would say that's your prime citizenship. And then as a dual citizenship, you can put your US citizenship. Um, Again, then you'll also gain a bit more from being more diversified than just a regular US citizen. But again, if the last 5 years have been in the US, you've been living in the US and you happen to have another citizenship, so you might want to apply as a US citizen. So I would just go kind of rule of thumb with, where have I been in the last 5 to 10 years? You can also look at what is a bit more sexy. If you have a citizenship from Fiji, that's quite rare. But again, if you've never lived in Fiji or worked in Fiji, I don't think you can say that's your primary citizenship. Okay. If you're a current member of the military, okay, so you can say from which country. And if you're identified from LGBTQ, you can mention that here as well. And have you ever applied that you're re-up or not? Again, there's no way around that. If you've applied, you want to tell them. Joint degrees is quite rare. If you are applying for joint degrees, you can mention that here, MBA and, okay, MPH, or which is a public school, Yale School of Public Health, or anything else. Quite rare. Let's continue with that. Okay, so now we need to mention our academic record. There's lots of, you can read all this, what to list and what not to list. But basically what we need is our transcripts, okay? And the second thing we need is some kind of certificate from your university, okay? So you can add your institution here. So when I say certificate, I mean like Shimri Winters was awarded a BA in computer science, okay? Some kind of certificate from your university showing that you have a BTech or BA or BSc or whatever. So here I went to this country and this institution, and these were the dates, etc. And it was an undergraduate degree. Undergraduate is a BA, BSc, yes, first degree. And some of these are optional, okay? Not everybody has a major, major two, major three, minor, okay? GPA is interesting. I mean, maybe you got a 76 out of 100. Maybe the scale is out of 5, out of 4. If there's a different scale, that's fine. Remember that Yale and other schools receive thousands of applications. They know it's fine that an engineering degree from an IIT university in India it's very hard to get 100 out of 100. You'll probably have a 56 as your GPA, and that might be quite good. So don't worry. It is what it is. Okay. So again, there's no way kind of to lie or to be worried. Just put your your degree here with the scale, with the grades, class rank. If you know your class rank, and if it's good, I would say top 20%. I would put the class rank. If you have some kind of honors, that's good as well. So here you need the transcript, okay, in English. And like I said, I actually like two documents in this place. I like the transcript, and I like, which is like course by course description, okay? So it says kind of statistics, and I got a 4.0 and microeconomics, etc. I would also put here like the undergraduate certificate. If you can only upload one PDF, just merge them and just put them together. I think that's good. If you have a quantitative background, so specifically these 5 courses, okay, I think I've only seen 1 or 2 other institutions that have that. I think maybe Kellogg or something. So mention them. Okay, so I took a specific course. Maybe it was I took it here, and the course name was stats. Sorry, maybe it was Statistics, I don't know, advanced. That's a good name. And what was the course? Okay, it was in statistics, and I got 89. Okay, save and add another. Great, you can add another course. Did you study abroad? Did you get some kind of transfer? Again, yes, yes, no, no. There's nothing to overthink it, like most of the Yale application. This is for college seniors. Not very relevant for most applicants, but if you haven't qualified yet, if you haven't finished your undergraduate degree, so you can kind of mention that here. Also, mark yes if you are doing your master's degree, and then is it from Yale? Yes or no, and that's it. Now that puts you for the Silver Scholar program, by the way. Check out ARINGO for deferred MBAs. I will put maybe a link here in this video. That's for something else. If you are a young candidate with little work experience, just finishing your undergraduate degree, again, with under 2 years of work experience, you can apply to deferred MBAs or to Yale Silver Scholar program. Read about it more. Not relevant for most of this video. Disciplinary review, again, read it. I'm assuming most of your answers. Have you ever been disciplined or placed under academic sanctum? I'm assuming it would be no. If yes, you're going to kind of have to explain what happened. Okay, if you've been convicted of anything, you're going to have to explain what happened. Again, same with the GMAT. If it was disqualified due to cheating, you're going to have to explain what happened. Okay, Yale is a test score mandatory school. You will need a GMAT or a GRE. How to upload it? You go here and you mention what was the exam. Okay, not many options. So I took the GRE Focus Edition, and I took it just now on January 1st, 2026, and I got a total in of a 675. And these are the various sections. If you don't have this report, some people do the exam and don't have the official report yet. Just remember kind of the score. Just do the best you can. We do want to fill this out. The total score is the most important thing. Worst case, if you get the percentiles wrong, not a huge deal. And don't forget to send these scores to Yale through the GMAT or GRE website. Maybe you've noticed Yale does not ask if you didn't study in English in your undergraduate degree, or not a US, British, Australian, South African, Canadian, British, if I didn't say that, citizen. So you do not need a TOEFL or IELTS or Duolingo score at all for Yale. There's actually not a place to upload it. So Yale, MIT, Duke, and Columbia do not require an English proficiency score, and there's actually no place to upload it. Okay, so as you can see, it's kind of straightforward. And here we need to list our employers. There's a little or big copy pasting job from your resume. Okay, obviously this section has to be correlated to the resume. So we want the same name. Okay, find a website. You can try and find this stuff on Wikipedia if you don't know the company size. And your title, again, has to be very similar to what you put on the resume. Start with the full-time work experiences here. Starting position, ending position. So we do this according to employer. Starting compensation, including bonus here. And ending compensation, that means if in the first year you got less and now you've been upgraded, promoted, whatever. Don't worry about the salaries. There's no secret strategy here. If you worked in a government organization, if you worked in a low-income country, Nigeria, India, it's obvious that you're going to make, or that you are making today, less money than someone who works in Wall Street as a trader. Okay, that's fine. So don't worry. I've had people from a military experience that made $100 a month. That's absolutely fine. So you put here starting salary $1,200. No bonus. Okay, Army does not give bonuses. Um, okay, but then when you put the sector, it's going to be a gov sector, and the industry would be, whatever. Again, no tricks and things. Company description, 10 or 20 words about your company. Job description, this is a bit different than the resume because the resume talks about achievements. Here you can just say, as a McKinsey consultant, I work with clients on various strategic issues, mainly in the telecom sector. As a McKinsey consultant, I work with telecom clients on their strategic issues. Okay, so easy. Let's shut this thing off. And I don't know how to shut that off, so we'll ignore it. Okay, so that was, sorry about that. And as you can see, reasons for leaving. Okay, so in your current job, I currently work here. No reason for leaving. Okay, so save that. Okay, I'm not going to save that because I did a lot of open things. And then you can go, what I would do it reverse chronologically. Okay, so I would put my latest employer and then the employer before that and the employer before that. This is quite typical. A lot of people ask me, why do schools ask for this when it's all on my resume? I don't really know. Okay, but they ask for it, so we're gonna have to do it, and it does take a bit of time. So this is probably like the longest section that you have to deal with. Then you upload your resume, quite easy. Months of work experience. Okay, so although like in many other schools, they ask for post undergraduate full-time work experience. If you have prior to your undergraduate full-time work experience, that usually can be army service, or it can be some kind of job that you had before your undergraduate degree. Definitely mention that, although it says post-undergraduate. Okay, so I've had candidates who were 8 years in the army, and then they did their undergraduate degree, and then they came for Yale MBA. So they're not going to put 0 in their work experience. They're going to put 8 times 12. So again, you need to put here months. So 8 times 12, I think is 96. Check me. If you have any post-undergraduate gaps, okay, again, if your resume shows gaps, we're going to have to explain it. This is what I call an essay, okay? Any place where there's more than 10 words from my perspective is an essay. And I'm going to have to explain it. When I completed, and obviously don't do this on the fly like I'm doing right now, but a better way would be to actually mention this, to actually work on this offline is what I was going to say. When I completed my BA, I decided to take a 6-month vacation in Asia, backpacking 20 countries since I have been working for 5 years straight, okay, or whatever. Again, because we have here 200 words, 250 words, definitely think what you want to say here and definitely use this to your advantage. So if you went backpacking, exploring many cultures, things like that, why not? And um, and again, gaps are not a good thing in in work experiences. So use this. Maternity leave, vacation. I took some time off to study for the GMAT. These are all good things to say if there were 3 months, 4 months, 5, 6. Beyond 6 months, we need a really good story. Okay, if one of your letter of recommendations from your current supervisor, okay, I think that's important. If no, explain why. I think I'm making the statistic out, but I'm probably not far off. Around 30% of my candidates do not use a current supervisor. Don't worry about that too much. Okay, why? Just explain. In my job, if I say I want to do an MBA, I will miss the annual bonus. I will miss some kind of promotion that is coming up. Just have a good explanation. Okay, again, just work on that. Okay, this is if you're a founder. or co-founder of a company, that's fine. And if it's not included in your full-time job. So I actually like that. Like they're saying, if you have anything else very special for Yale, definitely take that. So I love that. And you can kind of explain a bit about that. And again, there's kind of a mini essay here. Okay. So you have to kind of describe, you have the startup, or maybe you have an Airbnb, or maybe you're, kind of doing something part-time. And it's a great opportunity to mention that. But again, there's lots of things to do. So I'm not going to go through them because it's probably less common to most people, but definitely kind of put it in the side and work on it. And what's nice about Yale and any online application, you can just save what you were doing and continue. Okay, here we're getting back to like some essays, and there's career interest. So career interest is kind of, what are you interested in? And again, it would look really, really strange if you say like, I'm so interested in data science, but until today I've been working as an accountant. Okay, so it has to be also kind of connected. This is definitely something which is kind of career goals, but definitely connect it to your interests and maybe show some kind of connection to today. But again, we'll discuss that in our other presentations about the essays. So you can put here your career essay, and just to mention here which industry you're going to be working in, and are you thinking about being an entrepreneur or not? Joint degree essay, not many people apply to joint degree essay, but if you are, you can start filling that out as well. Do you have a sponsorship? Sponsorship is Deloitte, okay, paying for your MBA, and you can say, yes, I will be returning to my employer post MBA, and they have agreed to pay 50% of my tuition. Okay, so will you be returning to the employer? Why? I've been selected by management. Something like that. Again, quite a rare occasion to be sponsored. Here you just fill out recommender. It's quite straightforward. I don't think there's anything too much that you need to know. Just the phone number, basically, of the recommender. And there's a bit of a fine print here with the Buckley Amendment. Basically, you can put, I waive to write access to this report, which means you won't see what your recommender is writing for you, but that's for your behalf. I think that makes sense. Okay, one more section here. I think it's actually the last kind of open section apart from the essay. And these are like some activities, and that you can kind of mention 2 undergraduate activities. I don't know why they're limiting it to 2, but you can kind of say I was volunteering in an old age home, and my role was to befriend with 3 pensioners and cook cakes for them. And I was doing this 2 hours per week. Okay. If you got some kind of award or there was a leadership or anything, definitely fill this out. So there's a bit of work here. And here's my second activity. I used to play basketball and be the captain of the team. Okay. Not everything is volunteering, and not everything has to be, run a marathon. It can also be something small. I like playing basketball with my friends. Here's the essay. Okay, so in this year, 2025-6, there was kind of a option to choose between these various essays. Other written material, it's only for kind of re-apps. So if you're a re-app, they want to kind of see what's changed in the last few years. And there's an option here to kind of put some optional information. This should really be specific. So if you have a big gap in your work and you want to kind of explain it in 100 words, if you have something very unique, I don't know exactly what, and you want to mention it, but it's not like a place for an optional, a regular optional essay, like I just want to tell you I really want Yale, etc. So we don't always use this optional essay. And that's it. Quite quick. So Again, there is a bit of work here, mainly typing in all your employers and the two activities. Um, there's a bit of background information. Again, it's kind of for statistics only. Where were you born? What's your primary language? Your high school? Uh, I think there's something about your parents here. Annual income of your family. Okay, how many people lived in your home? Again, don't overthink it. It's more of a kind of a statistic thing. Here, there's a something nice. I think I've only seen this in Colombia somewhere. Um, so it's kind of a so it actually says for your undergraduate education. That's why I was kind of looking, but I think it's kind of a misspelling, um, and the kind of thing saying they've copied this from their undergraduate funding part, but they're kind of saying how are you going to sponsor this MBA? So what I would usually say is like, let's say 20% from my family. I'm going to take a 20% loan, and I have 20%. Okay. But I'm hoping to get a scholarship of 40%. Okay. So definitely be modest. You don't have to be like say I won 100% scholarship. I'm not really sure this helps or doesn't help, but there's no harm in putting something like this, which shows that you have a bit of money and you're serious about taking a loan. But you would do so like a scholarship. This is a bit about the family, and if you have a spouse, okay, again, quite straightforward. And supplement detail. If there's anything that you want to mention here, for example, again, sponsored applicant, have some kind of scholarship if you're a Fulbright winner, um, your spouse maybe is going to study in Yale and you wanted to mention that. If there's anything that you want to mention, that's a good place. Once you pay the application fee and submit this, you'll also get some video questions. Check out our other videos about how to answer the video questions. But this was pretty straightforward. As you can see, I'm kind of missing 100% of my application. But once you actually fill out everything, it will turn green and you'll have here a submit button. You can actually save, you can kind of do a proof of the application. And you can see I have lots of issues. And that was my presentation about how to fill out the Yale application. Um, Contact us for more details. We do interview prep if you ever get an interview. And good luck. Bye for now.